Thank you, Connor.
Is Julia coming today, Sonia?
I really haven't the faintest notion, my dear. You know what she's like. I sometimes wonder why she stood for the committee in the first place. You hungry? I'll have Connor whip you up a snack if you like.
No, I'll last out to lunch. How are the renovations on the beach house going?
Oh, quite well. Gerald has this little man. He does the most amazing things with slate. He's quite reasonable, too. So difficult to get a good tradesman these days.
And home help. You're really very lucky to get hold of Mrs. Connor.
I suppose so. Does it work, keeps to herself. Can't ask much more. Another drink?
Yes, thank you.
Connor, get Mrs. Belmont another drink.
Yes, Mrs. Hanlon.
Connor, hurry up with Mrs. Belmont's drink.
Yes, Mrs. Hanlon.
Mrs. Blake phoned.
No, Mrs. Hanlon. 3 bags bloody full, Mrs. Hanlon.
Agitates in prison. 4 letters. Now, I wonder what that can be. I've got riot, but it doesn't fit with the letters across.
I don't know. Any ideas, Mrs. Connor?
Oh, come on, Louise. Connor isn't interested in crosswords.
Stir.
What?
Stir. Means agitate, and it's slang for prison.
Oh. Yes, it fits. I've never heard that expression before.
Well, it's amazing what you can pick up on the telly.
Connor, my guests will be here for lunch at 1. I hope you'll be ready.
Yes, Mrs. Hanlon.
How did Julia make any mention of coming here today?
Not to me.
I think she's playing golf.
3 guesses to whom she's playing with. I suppose she's entitled to her tawdry little affairs, but she might at least phone.
This is excellent wine, Sonia.
Yes, it's interesting, isn't it? Gerald had it sent over from Dusseldorf on his last trip. Connor, yes. Top up Mrs. Belmont's glass, yes. Next month he's going to France. Wanted me to go with him. Swanning around the vineyards in search of some rare vintage, if you please.
Oh, marvellous. Surely you're going.
Of course not. Yes, Connor, what is it?
Oh, should I open another bottle, Mrs. Hanlon?
Well, of course. No, I told him. I'm far too busy. Now, this committee has a lot to do the next couple of months, and I am not going to miss out on my trip to Hawaii in August.
Thank you for a lovely lunch, Sonia. And very productive, too.
Yes, it was enjoyable, wasn't it? I think it's a better idea to have a meeting here. You know, with some decent food and wine instead of the stuffy boardroom at the club.
We'll see you next Tuesday, then.
Oh, most certainly. Goodbye.
Bye-bye,
Bye, Alice.
Sonia.
Goodbye, Louise.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Ah, Connor, have the afternoon papers arrived yet?
Yes, Mrs. Hanlon.
Well, I think I'll have them down here. It's far too nice to go indoors yet. Connor, don't forget that my husband will be bringing his partner home for dinner tonight for drinks. So we'll need some savouries before dinner.
Right, Mrs. Hanlon.
Connor, you must be exhausted. Why don't you take a break for a while? Go and lie down in your room and relax.
Well, it's all right, Mrs. Hanlon. I've nearly finished here anyway.
I feel far too lethargic. I think I should get out for a while. I might go for a drive. Won't be long.
Remember that fruit knife you cut so well last time? You turned around and abused me because it was too sharp? Well, I've got it in my pocket.
You're not going to leave me here, surely. That's the general idea. But why not in the house?
There's less chance of you being seen out here. Besides, you might just make your way to the phone.
My husband will be home soon.
Oh, yes, poor Jerry. You don't really suppose he'll come looking for you out here, do you? As soon as he sees that house locked up and the car gone, he'll think you're away on one of your stupid committee meetings. So we're going to be here for some time, so get used to it.
Look, I'll give you anything. I'll give you some money, a head start, anything.
No, thank you, Mrs. High Society Hanlon. You've already given me quite enough already. You've taught me that just one of my mates back at Wentworth is with a dozen of you and your lot and all your so-called charity work. You know, you spend more at the hairdressers in a week than one woman normally exists on in a month. You should do yourself a favour. Down to Redfern, Newtown, with just $5 in your pocket, just for once. See how the other half lives. And see if you can exist on that. Don't struggle too much, will you, Sonia? You might wear yourself out. Oh, and don't bother writing me a reference.
Sonia? Sonia, are you down there?
Thank you, Julia, dear. It was absolutely ghastly, Inspector. I quite thought she was going to kill me.
Detective Sergeant Brent, ma'am. Not Inspector, unfortunately. How long was Smith in your employ?
Oh, nearly 2 weeks.
And you never suspected her before?
Well, of course not. One doesn't expect to find a murderer under one's roof.
There have been photographs of her in the press and on television quite frequently.
I can honestly say that I never noticed them. Otherwise, I would have contacted you.
Yes, of course.
Poor Sonia, what an awful experience.
My dear, I am lucky to have escaped with my life.
Mrs. Hanlon, did Smith ever mention any friends she had here or any place she may have frequented?
If she did, I wouldn't know. The social life of my domestics is of no interest to me.
Did she go out much?
No, she seemed to keep to herself. Oh, I can understand why now.
How much money would she have had?
And her wages were due tomorrow. Last week she had about 200.
Right. Get on at WHQ, tell them confirmed sighting, and see if there's any news on the car.
I keep wondering just how long I would have lain there if you hadn't come along. Oh, my dear Julia. I shall never again curse your unreliability.
Mrs. Hanlon, there are a few more questions, I'm afraid.
Anything to put that hideous woman back behind bars.